All right. Peace out there, everyone. See if I can pull this up here on the screen right here. Getting back into our regular schedule. Okay, here we go. All right. This is this is decent. This is better than I thought it was gonna be. So let's see if I can get here. I need to get to the screen. Got this little background image right here. Every day I'm experimenting with new stuff. You had to bear with me. Pretty much every day I got a new experiment I'm conducting just to see what it looks like. But we're gonna get into the topic there of writing history in the Asiatic calendar. Shout out to the brother. And let me get the link. So somebody else gonna send me the link there. Felix Almanzar. What's the deal? I got sincere. I guess our alerts is going out slow today. Our alerts is going out slowly. You know, I got this thing. I experimented with this right here. This started out with just a picture. Why is Bezos? What's the deal? You got a little, got a little topic. I was on it's like a Zoom call the other day, and a brother had a question about this particular topic. So that's what kind of inspired this. Where I was like, you know what? Maybe there's other people that is curious about that too. In particular, and I don't know if we covered that on here yet. In particular, of course, we've come in tune with the topic of the Asiatic calendar, but I don't know if we really discussed it to any degree. But what about y'all right now? Felix Almanzar, are you familiar with the Asiatic calendar? Bobby Joe Billy. Oh man. She like what's the science? That's when you know you made it in life. You met somebody named Bobby Joe Billy. That's when you remember Billy Jack? That's what that name remind me of too. Bobby Joe Billy. Prime Phoenix. I don't understand why you keep coming back. You see, I've had some head injuries over the years, just in general, playing sports, et cetera, et cetera. I've sustained some blows to the head. So sometimes, you might get sneak something past me, but I know who you are now, Prime Phoenix. But you know what? I'm not going to get caught up because one thing I see is that, all of y'all people are fake. And see the key, that's why I'm glad. See, it's 5% that come on here and we build. You see what I'm saying? Because the point is not really to get in no battle with these people. See, the point is just to expose them. The point is just to expose them, right? And then everybody see who they is. And then people as adults, they make their adult decision. If you want to go deal with that, right? We deal with freedom, justice, and equality. Now, I don't know you. I know what you've been doing in terms of how you interact with, what you're doing here. See, I'm gonna tell you a lot of these people, right? They employing the Dr. York strategy. See, I'm gonna tell you something. If you look around a lot of the places, right, where you got these people showing up and they seem super duper knowledgeable. They seem super duper knowledgeable. They be knowing the NOI, they know the mathematics, they know the Old Testament. They A lot of those people, I'm telling you, they started out with Dr. York. You see, over the years, you see what I mean? Like when I first ran into them, they was Muslims. They was wearing the white sheets in the kufis. Then for a minute they was Hebrew, they were Egyptologists, they was Indian, Native American at one point. They had the book of the 5%. See, we too present. So, that would have been a difficult one to pull off. But see, now that that's falling, right? You got people that, yeah, so now they go and blend into all these various places. But when they go and blend in, they seem highly knowledgeable because they've been studying all these different sciences. Whether they've been studying them right or wrong, that's something else, right? But they speak well on it. Now, I'm not saying that that's who this guy is, but I'm just telling you that that's who a lot of these people are. They think that they could just add supreme mathematics on whatever's the bullshit whatever's the bullshit that they already think. This is not no set of facts. You see what I mean? Where a person come in and yeah, well, yeah, I've read your book. I know your doctrine. What fucking doctrine? So see, he's the type of person. He's here. I don't know what he's doing here. Look, see, look, somebody in there. I'm gonna move on, right? Yeah, see, I'm not on his level. Like I said, I don't know why you keep coming back. You see what I'm saying? See, this guy contacted me the other day saying that I don't like him because he knows the truth. What'd you say of the black woman's existence? Whatever he said. And then you come back, you keep coming back all the time. I don't understand. Like, haven't you figured out, right, that no matter how many times you come back, I'm gonna tell you the same thing. You're gonna learn the same thing if you do the knowledge to the true and living. Yo, it must be beautiful, man. It must be beautiful, man. Maybe it's a jealousy thing where, you know, you couldn't play games. This type of playing around. People wasn't playing around when I got the knowledge. Maybe that's what it is. But look, Prime Phoenix, I see right through you. Look, moderators, everybody with a wrench. If Prime Phoenix gets out of line, kick him straight out. Zero tolerance. So yeah, getting back to the topic right here. Shout out, I see the bar, Jigga 1017, Shalai in here. Peace to all the guys. But dealing with the topic of the science of writing history. You know what I'm saying? And how it relates to the Asiatic calendar. You say, can you join me Tuesday? Now, I wouldn't advise you to go to be nowhere where I'm at. I don't even know what you mean. I don't even know if I should say pause at the reading that statement. You know, I just say pause just on GP. You know what I'm saying? But just in general, now I advise you to be no place where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Getting back to the science of writing history, and like I said, I was building with a brother on the Zoom call, and he had some questions. So it just you know it sparked me to think that maybe some other people might be curious about some of the same things he was curious about in the lessons. So like when it says uh 2000 BC, right? It was in the year 2000 BC in the Asiatic world. It was in the year 11,000, right? Uh, is does everybody understand what that means? You ain't come on and live. See, this is the thing, Prime Phoenix. See, when I was younger, I was reckless, right? Well, I didn't used to think about stuff like this. But see, now I can't bring you on the live because I know how you think. You see, you might say something crazy. You see, And so at this stage, right, where I don't even want to risk. I don't even want to risk what you might say. Seriously, because I had to block you. Remember, I had to block you on Instagram. So see, I can't be out in this type of public forum and be associated with you. See, that's what you don't understand about this culture. It looks scared, all of that. You can say whatever you want to say. You know, you're asking to come on the live stream. You're you're not asking. You're not saying you're gonna pull up. Scared of what? This internet has warped out people's mind. Like I don't know how old you are, but bully, you know, blips on the screen cannot bully. I'm from the days when bullies. When you ran into bullies, you, you, bullies take your money, your lunch money, and stuff like that. Bullies steal your bike. This kind of you bullying people with these blips on the screen. I don't even understand the concept. So Bobby Joe Billy said the calendar started at year one of this 25,000 year cycle. I mean, yeah, the calendar started at year one, but I'm saying in particular, how does it relate to uh, 2000 BC, right? In the year 11,000. He said, I'm scared of the truth. This is another thing I'm not understanding. You know what I'm saying about these people? They like class clowns. You ever see with class clown, right? Like somebody be talking in class or they doing something in class. Now, if the teacher turns around, you ever heard a teacher turn around and they say they try to hand the chalk to the student. They say, okay, look, you want to talk? You come up here and teach the class then. You want to talk? You come up here and teach the class then. And then what always happens? That person freezes up. They don't know what to say now because they don't know how to teach. Now, if the teacher had turned around and started arguing with them, they know how to argue back. Now, you can teach your own. Why can't you just do your own video where you teach what you teach, like I teach what I teach? You see how you need me? You see how I'm still God of you? You see how you need me to do what you're doing and I don't need you? See, you like the brother the other day. You like the brother the same the other day. You like the supreme God, but you're not the supreme God. But you are the supreme God, but you're not the supreme God. But if I let you come on at rush hour on Tuesday, then you would show me that you're the supreme God. Yeah, I got it now. So Bobby Joe Billy said it was 11,000 years that had passed by the time Musa came. Divine King said 2000 BC is 11,000 in the Asiatic calendar. The second agreement, 1 to 14, that is the first introduction to the Asiatic calendar. Don Bishop. All right. So this is still this is what I'm asking you, right? How is the year 2000 BC, right? what is BC saying? Oh man. So now look, I don't know if this is the same person. I don't know if he's back under a different alias. Yeah, this is a different alias. JPF Fallen is the same. Is this is Prime Phoenix? So he's come on. He's come on. He's come on to a different a, a different uh 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 character here. He's coming a different character and then try to speak up for his other characters. It's that's some police shit, man. Get out of here. Uh, listen, Ghost Visuals. You if you get ready to leave, let me know. Cause I gotta holler at you too. The brothers from around your way. the brothers from around your way. He hit me up. Yeah, we got a bill. Uh, but yeah, this in particular, right? Because look, what does BC mean? BC means before Christ, right? Now, in the Christian world, right? Jesus is Lord, right? Now, in the Asiatic world, they say Jesus is a prophet. So clearly, there's some difference in the ideas there, right? So now, what does that mean, right? And how is that related to when it says in the Asiatic world, it was in the year 11,000? See, JPF falling in what's the Prime Phoenix? You need to pay attention to the loop playing right there. You see what that says? You need to learn the power of silence. That's what you that's what you need to learn. So Divine King said before a particular calendar, the Gregorian calendar, okay, you're starting to get warm when you brought up the Gregorian calendar right there. Right? Now, what is the Gregorian calendar? You said my studies lead me to the knowledge that BC or BCE is before the Christian era. I mean, look, that's clever. But we know, right? See, because look, now we get into it where we say what does that what's the Gregorian calendar? Break that down for the people. The original Mr. 120. So Ghost Visual said 11,000 years of the 25,000 year cycle. Okay, where does the 25,000 year cycle come from, right? And where does the BC come from? BFR Global said Pope Gregory. Indeed. All right. So the Pope, right? This is the Christian world, right? So here's the let me cut down. Let me cut down some of the drama here, right? See, everybody was telling their own time. Everybody was writing their own history. Everybody had their own gods. You said Pope Pope Gregory decided when to start counting at that time. That's actually not true because the Gregorian calendar, right, corrected the Julian calendar. You see, like I said, everybody was telling their own time and everybody was writing their own history. You see, like you're saying here, right, the Gregorian calendar, right, was imposed on the whole world. So everybody had their own year one and they calculated from there. So there might be an event, right? Let's say there's a war between two nations, right? Two groups of people. The year that each one of them recorded that as would be different, right? According to what they considered the year one. So see, like even right now, right, in the Jewish world, like in Jerusalem, in Israel, the year is 57 something. You see what I'm saying? Or, in China, in India, they talk about, they got 50,000 years of history. See, because those is worlds that, that world is still, they still have at least some uh form of they self-identity existing, for one reason, because of Buddhism. So see the history, the people that they tracing things back to, because the history is in particular what is recorded. That in particular is history. See, if it's not recorded, then it starts going into other categories like archaeology, right? Where people go, now you got to go and try to find the pieces and put it back together. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, you know, I've never heard anybody really try to. Well, I guess the Christians do to a certain degree, because Adam just means man, right? But uh, you know, for the most part, people don't know who's the first person, right? But there's a first person recorded in history. I can't remember his name. He's I think they say he's some type of clerk. Like he was the person, like when people was coming to handle whatever their business was, he had to sign off for something, right? And so he's the oldest. They haven't found a particular name of a person that's like, yeah, we could talk about that. He's the first person whose name went down in Western history. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Chinese might have a whole other person, right? The Indians might have a whole other person. So the history is in particular what is recorded, right? And like I said, now is what is recorded by who? You said here exact. It does not match. 2000 BC would be 11,086 on the Asiatic calendar, not 11,000. Well, look, I just got finished going through something with our brother, so I'm gonna leave the rest of that count. But look, why do you say that it's supposed to be 11,086? But uh, while you get into that, what I'm saying is that things is recorded, right? In they recorded in various worlds, according to the perspective, according to uh what the people in that world think is important to record. You understand what I'm saying? And so now, right, you got to remember that the original man, right, we don't just write our history, we don't just write the past, right? But we write our history in advance and then live it out. You know what I'm saying? And look, we're not the only ones. Everybody, they got certain, rather in their world, they call it prophecies, or rather they call it predictions, right? If people are writing your history, right? If you supposed to write your history and then live it out, right? When Pope Gregory imposed his history, right? The history of the Romans, you know what I'm saying? The Western Greek civilization, culture, whatever, right? When he did that, right? Now he's writing your history, not just the things that you remember, right? Where he could write you out of the history. He could write you out of the history where it's like, yeah, all this stuff right here, yeah, we invented all that. The only civilization is us. You see what I'm saying? And at the same time, they could give you the slave Bible, right? And tell you that, yeah, only thing you got to do right here, man, you gotta make it to heaven. You know what I'm saying? This hard work, maybe this hard work help you earn your way. Let me help you. You know what I'm saying? You know, since you gotta pay for all this curse here from all this wrong shit you did, I'm gonna help you out. You know what I'm saying? By giving you this hard work. So then when you get to the pearly gates, right, you can say, hey, I paid for that what I did, what I got cursed for. You understand what I'm saying? That's the power that shit has. I'm joking around a little bit, but that is real. So I'm still waiting for the brother to yeah, listen, one thing about these see Prime Phoenix is he's going where you want to go. But look, let me tell you something. And look, you're free to do whatever you want to do. You are free. See, I'm from New York, where it's all kinds of people. It's all kinds of people here doing all kinds of things, right? Things that I participate in, and some things that I don't condone, approve at all. The whole range is going on right here, right? So see, you can do you can do whatever you want to do, right? But I would tell you something. A woman can never be my guy. See, not like we talking about on the flag. See, is you got to show me a woman, right, that can live out the knowledge degree for me. Like I'm what role I'm gonna be playing in the knowledge degree, right? While she's being the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the father of civilization and God of the universe. What I'm gonna be doing. See, we've already seen that just in society, right? In society, right? We've had enough time to see right here to see women are not going to take care of men. They're not going to protect us. And look, we're not asking, nobody's asking them to do that. But I'm just telling you the reality. right? That what is the role? What's the role right there? Like, how's you know what I'm saying? That women they'll protect the children around them, right? But look, how many gangs was started by women? See, like I said, if you attack them, right? They'll defend themselves, especially if they need to protect some children. But how many times, right? You see women say, nah, man, let's go over there and cross the line, man, and let them motherfuckers know. Hey, look, especially look, they're going to do that while we do what? while the men do what? You see how that just don't work. So I don't know what's the world that you in that you talking about, whatever it is. But no, woman can't be my guy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is free. You know what I'm saying? Look, every guy that exists, right, except the black man, I didn't told him that. I don't care if you Christian, right? If you Hindu, if you Zoroastrian, you and your mystery God can kick rocks. None of them can be my God. Pause. That don't even sound right. But beat it with that stuff. No, I don't condone debating. Wow, what am I debating with you over? So let me ask you a question. Is one plus two three? Does one plus two equal three? That's a real question. You see, that's why I don't like you now. See, that's my bad, y'all. Don't think I got sidetracked and I don't know where we at. You know, hold on, let me read because the guy did put something back up here. So you said 1914 equals 15,000, the end of the devil's civilization. To go back to 2000 BC, you need to subtract 1914 and 2000 from 15,000, and you get 11,086. That is actual. that, that is actual. Now, here's the so here's the thing though, right? We still got we still got the 40th degree to deal with in the first degree, right? 15,020 is the same discrepancy, right? At 15,020 in 1934. See, look, now we know who that other one third that Elijah left. See, Elijah, Elijah must have left that other one third for a Zach Mine over here. You said the women can be symbolic to the universe, and the man would be the true and living spark of life within the universe. All right, so what came first, the universe or the spark? See, this is see, that's it. Come on, man, that's another live shoot. It's not your fault, but I'm just saying. But I started. I shouldn't have got caught up with this guy from the gym. So that's what I'm saying. Is 15,020 off too? Yeah, Prime Phoenix, he Muslim guy, but he don't want to be. And you know what I'm saying, it's these new people that they want to be around us. But yeah, getting back to the point over here, right? See, first of all, you talking about just bring you on Tuesday. The time is now. What you need to practice, what you need to practice. What's gonna happen next Tuesday? What would I have to wait if I was going to build with you? Why would I be waiting till next Tuesday? You right there, and I'm right here. Who will you be doing that for? Hold on. Oh yeah, ghost visuals. Now look, you the one that asked the question. So right, so 15,020, you saying is correct. So we got Julia TV came in. So ghost visuals. Yeah, before I forget, right? Uh yeah, you know, we was talking about the name ICY, you know what I mean? Because I recall, they was asking me what I recall because they said that you was considering a name or whatever based upon some of the stuff we was building on, right? Uh, and so one of the things you said I recall that you was picking ICY, right? Because you were saying that I see God, and I was telling you that, see, when what you doing, right? If what you saying, if you saying something in supreme alphabet and you got to translate that into English in order for it to make sense, then all you did is speak pig Latin. That was just slang. See, if you say something in supreme alphabet, it's supposed to make sense in supreme alphabet. You see, like, see, back in that time, right? People used to say, you know, use the term divine evil, but there's no such thing. How divine and evil just don't go together. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense when you translate it into English. But if you know what divine is, you know you can't put evil with that. So I recall we built on that, you know what I'm saying? But look, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Them brothers that you getting the knowledge, them brothers that you getting the knowledge amongst, right? Don't play around them. Like they, you know, those brothers are serious. You know, see, you come on here, you know, I laugh, but look, those brothers are serious, you know, because look, and you know, I got to keep it 100 with you, right? Times 100, right? See, you can't don't don't try to be an intellectual with this knowledge, right? And what I'm saying is not I'm not saying don't be smart with it, right? And don't uh draw it up, right? But don't try to be slick with it. That's what I really should say. You know what I'm saying? Because see, for instance, right, the brother said that there came a time when, you know, y'all was wherever y'all was at, and then you said, yeah, you know, I gotta sit down because I'm weak bone and weak blooded. See that's playing with this knowledge. That's playing with this knowledge. See, first of all, right, understand, and that goes for everybody, right? From the nihilotic blackness of black, right, all the way to the Scandinavian, right? See, physical power is not necessarily physical strength. Okay, see, don't think like you remember the mountain from that TV show, or just you know you see motherfuckers in the UFC. Don't think you can just go attack somebody, right? that's that's trained in mixed martial arts, right? Because that degree says that. That's not what it means. Because you could just take on any lumberjacks or see, don't get caught up. The same way you wouldn't get caught up, right? And try to, you know, like your man said, right? And pull, you know, you wouldn't want to pull a Voodoo Harris on the 10th degree and the 1 to 14, like the gentleman who tried to you know, badmouth us there the other day. We wouldn't want to do that. And by that same token, we wouldn't want to make that mistake with the 32nd degree, the 33rd degree. But see, stuff like that, when you doing stuff like that and you saying stuff like that, see, look, if that's the case, stay in your lane. Meaning be somewhere else. Don't run with the big dogs if you can't handle running with the big dogs. You see what I mean? But see, there's a way where you have just reading comprehension. See, those are the people that want to correct 120 lessons, the people that can only apply reading comprehension to the lessons. And see, through reading comprehension, right, you can gain the command of it and everything, and you can explain certain things and you can speak. But that's not true understanding. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be anti-intellectual, right? We all about research here, right? We love math, we love science, right? But we don't get carried away, right? And not knowing that, see, you know, look, and even no matter what you deal with, right? Everybody know that it's things that can't be detected by the naked eye. What can't be detected by the naked eye? The wisdom that's drawing up. You see, if you just try to just apply the wisdom just straight like that, yeah, nah, that don't work. You see what I'm saying? That's when you're going to find yourself right in a situation where it looks like you're playing games. See, this right here, what we teaching, listen, we wouldn't be teaching it to all the human families if all the human families couldn't handle it. See, it's not certain things like people is telling you, go do this. No, this is something, this is civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of self, and the science of everything in life, which is love, peace, and happiness. See, so it don't matter what you is, who you is, right? You either you either dealing with this or you're not. See, if you got this, right, and you're dealing with this, then there's people out there, right, that you could say, you know what I'm saying? Whether that's your people, whatever, everybody got to save their own people, right? Not just from the seed that you from, but the walk of life, the mindset that you from, and all of that. Because we deal with what? Like attract and unlike repel. That's our law. So see, don't come around those brothers that you around, right? Saying, right, that you unlike. And don't just in general, I'm telling you, that's don't try to uh take advantage of just the reading comprehension and the command of language, right? To try to outsmart the actual lessons that's in there. You understand what I mean? That degree, what you got to learn from that, the depth of that is way beyond physical strength. But uh, that's you see. I keep getting sidetracked today. I look. I'm gonna have to edit this this video later, and I'm gonna edit back all the parts because I haven't lost track of where we at. Right? We at the Asiatic calendar and how it's related. And I like what Isaac did. Right? Is he showed that that's what that's telling you. Right? That for every year that you see everything that's recorded in the Christian world, right? The Western civilization world, right? That's crossed over, right? Since the Roman Empire adopted Christianity, the Western civilization and the Christian religion is roughly the same thing. At one time in the Christian world, it was the religious people that was keeping the history. Those was the scribes. The vast majority of the people at that time, I'm talking those days was just peasants and serfs. They wasn't even literate. So saying that for everything that they recorded, you got to remember now, look, they're in places like Rome, right? They in the Vatican. They in France, Germany, right? At the same time, you got people in Egypt, people in Constantinople, people in Baghdad, you know what I'm saying? And they're recording the history too. See, sometimes like when people come through and they be like, yeah, they destroyed, they lost their history. There's people over the time that lost their history and got it back for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Or just like you will see a lot of times when they say, well, what's the evidence that this person or that person exists? right? And they'll be like, yo, this person was European, right? But in Baghdad is recorded that yeah, there was a king named that from a place named that. So all these things is also recorded, right? Look, not just by different people, but with a whole different mindset, a whole different set of agendas. You understand what I'm saying? And once people start writing other people's history, right? Once other people start prescribing other people's gods, then they control those people. That's pretty much the history that we have right now, right? Is what was recorded by the series of people, right, that won all the battles resulting in the worlds that we got right now, right? Also that came up in the class, right? That when you see the born degree in the 1 to 10, right? That's that's talking about the knowledge of self. See, that's our self, Lord and Master, right? That's one world right there. That's the Asiatic world, right? Then it tells you Buddhism is 35,000 years old. That's the far eastern world, right? At least there's let's just say the East Asian world. Let's say that. You see, when you're looking at that time of uh, the 1930s, right, when the lessons is being drawn up, right, you got Japan is on the rise. These is the world powers, right? So you got Islam. Islam is the Ottoman Empire, right? The Christian world, of course, we know who the Christian world is, right? And you got the East Asian world represented by Buddhism. And in all three of those worlds, they got their own history that they recorded. So now, right, getting to the topic now that we understand how the the Christian world and the Asiatic world, how they related to each other, right? Um, how many people on here are familiar with the Asiatic calendar? How many people have seen the Asiatic calendar before? Okay, the bar. Mills Wave. So Mills Wave said there might be over 40 calendars in the world today. I wasn't aware of the exact number, but yes, we spoke on that today. How it's, in different countries, when you go there, they still got their own time. Like, see, the Jews don't believe in Jesus. So there's nothing significant in the Jewish world for them to say, Anno Domini. Like to them, it's been Anno Domini since day one. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm telling you. That it's the mindset when you say it's BC and AD, you're already witnessing, you're already witnessing their their signs. See, this is, it's, yeah, nobody came and put you in a yoke and made you say it, but this is a part of what it's saying, right? When it says, uh, uh, they were made blind, deaf, and dumb by the devil when they were babies. You see what I'm saying? Once you on their scale of time, then look, what if you did stuff before they started counting? Because of the simple fact that, you know what I'm saying? And that can happen. Like if somebody walks into this conversation right now and they say, nah, that never was said in that live stream. Yeah, they wasn't there. See how they already put you in a box by writing your history? So then what year was the 1 to 10? 1931. Now the 1 to 14, the 1 to 10 is 1931. The 1 to 14, yeah, it's 1933. 1 to 40, 1 to 36, 1934. Yeah. He said my print has zero for the colored man's world all down to year 9,000 on the Asiatic calendar world, which was when the colored man's history started. It shouldn't say zero though. It should say one. There's no year zero. But no, the 1 to 10 is 1931. That's the that's the 3.5 years that Elijah Muhammad took to they said it took him 3.5 years to learn 120. That's 1931, 1930, 1931 to 1932, 1932 to 1933, 1933 to 1934, and then you got uh going into February. So that's another 51 days. Where did well, I just you said where did 1931 come from? That's you see how like you see the same shit. Prime Phoenix gonna say positive almighty. Damn right, 1,000%. The lessons are from the NOI. See, don't you hate when somebody try to jump on the bandwagon with you, P Almighty? When he gonna act like he said what you said. Like, you gonna act like somebody in here agree with you. Man, go ahead. Shit, our present day, the the 110 is 1931. Yeah, the time is always now. But so what's the oldest date that y'all have seen on the Asiatic calendar? We're gonna help. We're gonna help brothers see because you can get the Asiatic calendar from somebody else, but you're really supposed to write your own history. It don't matter if it's somebody that you like; they still writing your history. So we're gonna start it off now, right? Where brothers is able to write their own history, right? So what's the oldest date that you've seen on the Asiatic calendar? The year one? Intellect Supreme says 76 trillion years. So the bar, you saying that you got from the year one of the present history of Quran. So Neighbor May says 78 trillion years ago. 78 trillion. Anybody else? All right, so let's start right here, right? Um 78 trillion is also so Bobby Joe Billy said 9,000. See now look, this is exactly what I'm saying, right? Clearly, y'all got it from different people who wrote the history. It's not saying that the stuff that's on any of these is wrong, right? Or that any of these are wrong, right? Or better than the others, right? But it just goes to show you, right? It just goes to show you that uh, the history is written by whoever is recording it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, 78 trillion is the oldest that I've seen on the Asiatic calendar, right? 78 trillion years ago, the universe was created, right? Then we got Intellect Supreme, right? Came in with 76 trillion years ago. right? So 76 trillion years ago, the sun was placed in the universe, right? So I'm gonna lean right here on intellect and neighbor made, right? What comes after 76 trillion years ago? What's next? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? So intellect supreme got 66 trillion years ago. You skip one. You have 72 trillion years ago, the star was placed in the universe. Then you have 66 trillion years ago, the planet Earth was created by the deportation of the moon. Right. 60, but you got five 72 trillion. Neighbor made. See, I don't know if you because that came up. I, I don't know if you typed that and then it came up late. So we got 78 trillion years ago, the universe was created, right? 76 trillion years ago, the sun was placed in the universe. 72 trillion years ago, the star was placed in the universe, right? 72 degrees between each point on the star. Exactly, right? 66 trillion years ago, the earth was created by the deportation of the moon, right? And then from there, right, we're going to skip, like if you write it down, right, write 78 on the top so that your timeline is going from the top towards the present, right? So you got 78, 76, 72, 66, right? So now, you know, because you're going to fill it in, right? But we're going to bring it up to two very important dates, right? Two very important dates, right? You got 15,020 is 1934, right? Because see, when you're talking about the creation of Earth and all of that, right? These are stuff that's not recorded. Who would it? You see what I'm saying? But you start to get into who's this free almighty God by you said just random astronomical numbers. You see, that's what I'm saying, man. Didn't I say a minute ago that when you're trying to deal with reading comprehension, right? You know, when you try to deal with reading comprehension, right? Instead of understanding, then yeah, they seem like just random astronomical numbers. Uh, Granddaddy Shabazz, yeah, you deal with that later. But look, 15,020 is 1934, right? Now, these are things, one of the reasons why I bring it up to there, right, is because these are things that happen in our time. You know what I'm saying? Like we know people, we walk with, well, I walk with people that was around in 1934. You know what I'm saying? Now look, here's another date, right? 15,050 is 1964. See, these are things that we know that happen, and so we can use them as a point of reference. The way exact mind use those as points of reference, right? In order to calculate the other dates, to say that, okay, this right here can't be right and exact, and that be right and exact at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the way math works, right? When you're dealing with math, two things that's not the same can't be true at the same time, right? So these are your points of reference, right? Now, from there, you got to fill out the rest of it the way you want. You see what I'm saying? Now, look, that's 1964, right? Now, see, you gotta put your own history. When did you get the knowledge? See, that's supposed to be on your Asiatic calendar because see, this is the history. See, you might not look at it like that. But see, if you teaching, right, the same way right now, we go back into the experiences, right, of the first brothers in order to, draw up the history and gain some understanding about where we came from, right? There's going to be people that's after you. In the same way, that's what they did as the history of the nation, well, depending on what you do, that's the history of the nation too. You see what I'm saying? When you learn 120 lessons, no, don't say right now for your mighty. No, 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 no. Because I'm still talking the same random numbers. You see? You see? You see? Because sometimes let me get a chance to finish. But at any rate, look, when you learn 120 lessons, when your babies was born, you know, when you went to your first rally, see all these things, that's the record that too. See, ain't nothing about them people way back then, right? That's different than us right now, where they get to be in the history and we don't. And then the other things, look, you might put on there uh uh you might put when Marcus Garvey came to America or when he established the Black Star Line, right? You might put some history that you've learned about Egypt, right? The Crusades, all of these things, you calculate that and put that on your Asiatic calendar. Various people. Frederick Douglass was born. If that's what you choose to record in your history, whoever chooses, if somebody else and they didn't think that was significant, it wasn't significant to them. It's not where they came from. Nah, nah, nah. See, before you said it was just random astronomical numbers. And what I'm saying is I'm still speaking the random astronomical numbers. See, because everybody that's writing their history, you have to walk and talk that. So that everybody else, yeah, that's random. See, if you put the day when I got the knowledge, right? Depending on, what you think your relationship is to me, right? Not saying that it's imaginary in your mind, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm not a part of your history, you know what I'm saying? You put in the day that I got to know, that's just a random number. It's just a random astronomical number. But if you know what it means, right, and you draw it up, then ain't that random about it. Ain't that astronomical about it. So is there anything that uh people don't understand about uh what we dealt with so far, right? Is there any questions? Because see, you know, I don't we've been on a while. Plus, I don't know what it is, man. I've been having insomnia. I've been having insomnia for weeks now, man. But we're about to take it to the highest degrees, huh? Like when y'all ready, if we don't have no questions, then we can move on to what is the highest degree. If y'all want to impress me, if y'all want to impress me, right, then then we could discuss what is the highest degree of writing your Asiatic calendar. Said I was referring to that 78 trillion years ago, the nation was painting a picture as having no beginning nor ending. And I don't understand it. You gotta. It's not that I don't. I'm not even disagreeing with you. I really don't understand. I just don't. I don't understand what the 78 trillion is saying. We having no beginning or ending. Right. P Almighty. Any any dates of significance should be recorded. So look, you got 1964. You're probably going to have 1969. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be some good times and everything that's recorded, right, may not always be a celebration, but that's the history. Okay, so since it looks like we don't have any questions about what we went through so far. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, like I said, if anybody wants to ask about uh some of the various dates on there, et cetera, right? Uh, but if everybody understands all of that, right? Now, here's the highest level of it, right? Let me see you, let me see you write some stuff in there and then live it out. See, all the stuff I talked about putting in there so far, right, was stuff that already happened. But remember, we write our history 25,000 years in advance. See, let me see you write that, right? And your word be life. See, so a lot of people could tell you about what happened after it happened. They see anything that happens in the world, here's something I can guarantee you, right? Anything that happens, there's going to be some people that come out and say, see, Nostradamus, Nostradamus predicted this was going to happen. Well, why you ain't tell us? Why you ain't tell us before this tragic shit happened? Like if he predicted this, why you telling us if he predicted it, why we just finding out after? See, anybody can do that. Anybody can sit there and try to draw all this allegorical uh similarities and all of that, right? But let me just see you writing the history. Now, don't get me wrong. Once you say it, you wrote it. You know, but don't sleep on the written word for many, many reasons. See, because that's one of the things that's happening right now. See, look, so I know I'm getting older. So some things, look, I look at it that way. See, the internet is them teaching and keeping people illiterate. They starting to get back illiterate. I done seen a couple people say, yeah, you don't need to know how to read now. You can just listen to books. And don't get me wrong. I don't think it's anything necessarily wrong with listening to books, right? But if it causes people to lose knowing how to read and write, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, your ability to soak in information in that way, you know, uh, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. You know, somewhere down the line, uh, because whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, it's still the filter of the person. You know what I'm saying? You still like the person is telling you that, but how you gonna go and show and prove it without you without you doing without you doing the what's your name? You said the 26 degree states from the present date of our from our pre it says which means from the date of our present history or Quran, first of all. And then Alex Johnson, you said you see many events left out. You didn't listen. I don't know when you came in here. So you want me to see Alex Johnson is a perfect example of a religious person. If you just came in, then disregard what I'm saying. But if you was here for any length of time, right? He's the perfect example of a religious person. Because see, I just said to everybody, man, you got to write your own history, man. I need my wisdom, my understanding. I need to do my own thing. See, don't see. Look, let me stay in the pocket, man. Let me stay in the pocket. But see, religious people, that's what they want. They want somebody else to write their history. They want somebody else to interpret the word for them. I mean, you're supposed to be the word. Yeah, I'm talking to you. When you say you see many events left out, what events? See, because I didn't give people the events, I showed them how to get the events for themselves. So this is what I'm saying. Was you paying attention? Look, if I'm wrong, somebody stop me. Somebody else speak up, please. I always ask y'all, keep me the guardrails there. Right? We family. Don't have your family up here. Don't have your family up here wilding out. You see, what I thought I said to everybody, man, is that you have to pick what events you want to put on your. Now, don't say, come on, God, I asked you what events you talking about. So you got to realize in the last week, we taking a lot of shots. I'm not what you said. I sure was what? What events are you talking about? Oh, this is just what's his name? Prime Phoenix. This is just Prime Phoenix. See, a Prime Phoenix by any other name is still a jackass. That's you know, you gotta be swifter than this. See, I'm gonna tell you something. This is stalking. See, you keep coming here, you wanna be talking about the Elijah, the theology of time. Elijah didn't teach this. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what I don't know uh what rule that is in the restrictive law, but this kind of man on man following me around here, you got to stop this. Pause. like you know, I don't know where you came from. You said 50,000 year period was left out. What the hell are you talking about? So Alex Johnson, what you said? You said the 50,000 year period was left out. Yeah, what 50,000 year period? What are you talking about? And why did you need me to put it in there? Like when I just said that, look, if you want to put that in yours, you can put it in yours. Why did you need me to say it? What are you talking about, first of all, right? And why do you need me to say it? Forget it. Yeah, I know, forget it. I don't know why you started in the jump. He said he don't need me. Yo, listen, man, I might have to cut this out soon, man. this is this whole this whole way of life here on YouTube is getting mad pause right now. Son. It's just getting this shit is just some pause, you know, where like, God damn. And all these people claim to be so much above me. I just don't understand. He said, I'm religious, this magnetic, and magnetic. You need to cut it out. Yeah, who knows, man? I can't call it. You know what I'm saying? This is, but I'm telling you, this is really, it started, maybe that's what it is. 6 years, you know, 6 years, and all of a sudden shit gets like this, man. But at any rate, we got any other questions? I think we pretty much handled. Uh, we pretty much dealt with the topic that I originally came in to deal with, along with some other topics that we got sidetracked into. But yeah, anything, whatever it is. Put 1970 in a new calendar. Yeah, I mean you got all those dates. The first show of proof, but that's 1971. 1986. Yeah, all of those things is to be recorded. So is that about it? Besides Prime Phoenix getting his Clubber Lang on. See, is anybody had that clip? See, Prime Phoenix, a couple other people. One thing y'all gotta realize, see, is weight classes for a reason. Not really, his name, man. Like I said, clearly you got a channel. Clearly you got a channel if you on here typing. So, do your video, send us the link or whatever. if you want us to check it out, but we don't want to be involved with you. Hey, look, I don't even, this is what I'm saying. You know, see, I'm giving out the knowledge right here. Like I don't like this. I'm giving out the knowledge. Like I can see a motherfucker talk about the '80s and shit like that when it's like, yeah, you gotta you had to, it was well, everybody's kids. So just in general as kids is, almost everything in life is king of the mountain. So back then, yeah, it was more people kind of challenging each other, you know, challenging, how strong you was on your square. You know what I'm saying? You know. But like I said, I just be giving out the knowledge. So I don't really know who to tell. See, here's the thing. We don't believe in the afterlife. Like we don't, it's no, so it's not like you gotta think what I think, or you're gonna go to hell and all this damnation. We don't think that nobody's coming back. You know what I'm saying? So see, like you got like the Christian Zionists where they feel like they gotta they gotta help the Israelis and whatever they doing to the Palestinians because they gotta help Jesus. Why you gotta help Jesus come back? I don't know. If Jesus is so powerful, like you talking, why he need your help? You understand what I mean? But to them, it's like, okay, somebody that's not what they program is blocking all of salvation out there. Free Almighty. Shout out to you for that super chat right there. You see what I'm saying? They feel like those people is blocking their salvation. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, uh, or you gotta be battling with these principalities and shit. You know what I'm saying? See, that's not how we look at things. See, we pro righteousness, right? So what that means is anybody can be righteous. See, that person being righteous is their ticket into the hereafter. See, we not like the other people where it's like, see, you could be righteous your whole life. See, you could do everything that Jesus did, but if you don't believe in Jesus, see, there could be somebody right in the backwoods of some country, right, where their family has lived on that land for hundreds of years. They just over there, right? They might have seen the TV before, but they don't got TV. They don't got a cell phone. They've never seen Random Jewels. They've never heard Wu Tang. None of that. See, if that person is righteous, right, then they get to the hereafter. And is the only way to deal with them is with supreme equality. But see, when you have that mindset that you got to vanquish other people, you know what I'm saying? And they have to believe what it is that you believe. See, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between that and everybody writing their own history. Because see, the miles that you walked on the planet might don't necessarily be the miles that I walked. So is you don't necessarily gotta walk my miles, you see what I mean, to get where I'm going. You might have walked a different way. You might have went the long route. You might have took the shortcut, right? We see that happens. You know what I'm saying? Where you see some people work in corporate America, but that's after they did about 10 years in jail. Now they the most law-abiding person you ever want. They don't even get a parking ticket. They took the long route. And so now the things that's recorded in their history is the things that's recorded in their history. You see what I'm saying? And they made it to the hereafter like that. But see, when you from the a different type of mindset where it's like, nah, a person can can do everything Muhammad did, but if he never heard of Mecca, then he can't get into because you didn't accept that the only God is Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. So these various people, you know what I'm saying? Whoever feels like they want to battle with me, that's what's that gonna do? See, the real deal, right, is it's not even me, right? It's y'all. A person think, right, that he can have some kind of conversation with me that's gonna cause all of y'all to turn whatever the person is, right? Whatever world they come from, right? They feel like if they vanquish me in a battle, that it's like who that was on the mountain. It said, it's sad to me how you don't remember me, the Black Sea Magnetic. You walk and ate with me. You call yourself helping. Yeah, bro. Who's this magnetic from Patterson? Because when you say I don't remember you, you act like you just walked down the street and I seen you. All the times we walked together, we didn't never go through each other's honorable name. On top of that, look, you said something was missing from what I said. Now, I asked you clearly, right? I asked you clearly what was missing from what I said because what I did is I showed everybody how to calculate every date for themselves. And I told everybody, right, that whatever you calculate, right, that's on you. If you want to put the Russian Revolution, if you want to put the Russian Revolution on your Asiatic calendar, put the Russian Revolution on your Asiatic calendar. Now, I asked you simply, right? When you say the 50,000 year period, you said you wasn't talking to me. Okay, but this is what I'm saying. what was missing, because this is a live stream, right? And in the live stream, you know, everybody was taught how to fish. Everybody was taught how to fish. You know what I'm saying? Now, wherever they want to go fish at, God, they that's what they do. If they put a date on there that's not right and exact, yeah, everything is subject to be shown and proven. But when we say all of a sudden that this particular this particular thing is supposed to be on there, right? So now that's the question. Why? And all I did is put a skeleton there. Look, put WF Muhammad Born Day on there. Put Elijah Muhammad Born Day on it. If you know Bernstein Sharif Born Day, put that on there. This all, I'm not leaving nobody out. It's just, in the I didn't prepare it like when you go to the Grammys and you prepare all the names and all the events. Jigga 1017 said, I say this all the time. What about the cats in the Amazon or somewhere with no contact with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, etc.? Are they subject to hell, stone, and brimfire for being righteous? Yeah, that's what the whole science of missionary is about. Now, I'm not saying that the Pope believes that shit, but that's the bullshit that he tells to the 85% of white people. That look, we got to go save these people's souls. We gotta go show them how to put on clothes. We gotta show them how to have sex. We gotta show them how to cook in pots. We gotta show them all this stuff, or they ain't gonna get to heaven. I mean, I hear you guys, right? You talking about certain things, you clarifying it now, right? But what you said was the 50,000 year period was left out, right? And what I'm saying is, what is the 50,000 year period, right? And why is it particularly significant? Because there's lots of things that's left out, or lots of things that I left out of this particular live stream because my point wasn't to include everything. My point was to show brothers how to write their history, you know what I'm saying? Or give brothers an example, right, of how they could go about doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then you came in, right, with a particular, when you said something is left out, right? This is what I'm saying, right? You said what you said. You said you wasn't talking to me, right? But see, when I just told everybody, right, that the point that I'm making is for everybody to now go back and construct it yourself. And then you come in and say, you see a lot of stuff left out. Do you not see how that contradicts with the point of this live stream? See, when you look at the title, right? What's the title here? Any Let me make sure. It says writing history in the Asiatic calendar. You said original people straying away from civilization. Well, look, me personally, I wouldn't put that on my calendar. Like now I realize, like now that you said it, I do know what you're talking about. And yeah, I left that out for a reason because I wouldn't put that on my calendar. See, because, you know, and and take it, take it how you want, right? I'm talking about everybody out there. Everybody out there, right? That describes a grafting process. Yeah, you're right. And you answered the question, you clarified. And now I'm telling you why I'm not including that on my calendar. No, that's not my history. I don't know whose history that is, but see, this idea, right, that black people are the way we are because we strayed away from civilization. See, because I thought it said we the original man. But now you're saying that we not the original man and that the characteristics we have is because we strayed away from civilization. No, I'm not disagreeing with your answer, man. I'm good. We you clarified that. Now we just continuing the conversation where I'm saying like, okay, I hear you what you're saying, but there's a reason why I don't go along with that. Because if that's the case, where's all the other people? Like where's the people? That means that there's no original people left. Where's the people that had all those characters? Where's the people that had the hair like they eyebrows? Where they at now? Just like look, when it comes to the story about where women come from, I don't believe that women are transgenders. And I'm not talking about the modern. I'm saying that if you look at the way described, right, is that the planet drops and penises invert. Now, nah. Yeah, that changes the whole tone. That changes the whole tone of man, woman, and child now. See, now I'm gonna tell you what you got put in your calendar, Mr. Greenwood, when when we first started dealing 2025, when we was introduced to the Muhammadan reality. Yeah, look, I told y'all, man, Elijah's my brother, man. I love Elijah, but look, I ain't trying to hear some of that. that's that's not for me. That's is that what I'm saying? You know, when he's right, he's the ace. But that's definitely not for me. You know, it's something. Look, see, there's some understanding there, of course, to be drawn up. You understand what I'm saying? But uh, you know, looking at that as our, literal history, I'm still a little bit. We need some more. We need some more evidence. We need some more evidence for that side of the scale. Would you say you got a question? Yeah, what's the question? See, let me tell you one thing you gotta realize: we not the same people. We not at the same stage. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that when the people that Elijah is dealing with, you got people that, is when he say illiterate, there's really people who can't read and write. Like when you look at the problem book and you see the math problems in there, they got, I was doing those problems in the first, second grade. And when you see where far is saying that, look, we need to learn physics and calculus and algebra and geometry. I took all those classes. But look, by the age of 18, I was better than Yakub. By the age of 18, right? I was already, well, I was taking like the beginnings of calculus, not quite calculus. But trigonometry, I already dealt with all that. You see what I'm saying? So it's a different, it's more that I can absorb, right? And there's some things now that's kiddie land. That's not for me. See, all of us, we know. See, and everything has had to go through that. You know what I'm saying? Where the people know more now. You know what I'm saying? The world around everyone has changed. People got access to a whole bunch of things they didn't have access to. See, like people were saying, yo, the woman is cursed, right? to go through childbirth because you had a lot of people dying, the women and the children in childbirth. So now they gotta explain it like that. But now, that the incidence of that, at least, here in America is it's not nearly the same level that it was. See, that's why we don't have hadith. We don't have that. We have the supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet to where we can just keep constantly cutting through the clouds, constantly cutting through the clouds and getting to the truth, whatever it is. So if the Indians were exiled 16,000 years ago, how come the 15,000 cycle is being added onto what 15? You said were exiled 16,000 years ago. No, it's not being added. It's saying that they left 80 years before this Quran. But uh again, see, one of the things there is like, okay, right now, we got this last 15,000 years of recorded history, right? But see, nobody recorded the Indians going over there or coming over here, rather, you know what I'm saying, to North America. So that's what that's saying, is that that's before all this stuff that we got recorded now. Nobody nobody wrote that down. Actually, we got to talk to Calm Islamly about that, though. The original Mr. 120, his background is from India. And he said that his grandfather had told him long before he ever got introduced to the knowledge that the the Indians that they call the Native Americans had came from there. So, I don't know if he got a chance to ask him again after he got his knowledge. But look, he might be sitting, he might be one of 23 scientists. the, the original Mr. 120, his grandfather might be one of 24 scientists out here. He didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? He could be the guy, what's the dude's name? Paul Guthrie. Paul Guthrie said W.F. Muhammad is really from India, according to Paul Guthrie. So if we get a chance, we'll ask the original Mr. 120 about that. He said people will say in what year according to the Asiatic calendar. Well, see, this is something uh that the bar was saying, right? That he said that his Asiatic calendar started from the year one. So Elijah Muhammad said that it was 24 Qurans, right, of 25,000 years each. right? So in the lessons, you do have two things that predate the present history or Quran. Well, yeah, I mean, well, this part of this stuff, right? This part of just what we building on, right, is right, been introduced, yeah. Buddhism is also before the date of our present history of Quran and the uh the Indians. You know, it's funny. I just realized that both of those things is related. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Indians being exiled from India, you know what I'm saying, and Buddhism, right, there's some significance of what he's saying about that, or to be drawn up, right, about that history. You know what I'm saying? Where he's saying that, that history over there is very ancient. The history on that part of the planet, I'm saying. Said Orthodox Islam, they had the knowledge. Nation of Islam deal with black liberation and nationalism. They gave us the wisdom, the opposite nation of God and earth. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was like, wait, I can't even hardly understand. He said 15,019 years ago is what year? The year one is, well, from 1933. Uh, the year one is 15,019 years ago. Speaking of that, I just remembered I missed some what's her names. Shout out to my daughter. My daughter, her born day was on the Knowledge Guide Day last month. These people was getting up there, son. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And then my little sister, her born day was on the Equality Day. She's fairly long in the tooth too. She said 19 years ago, well, 20 years ago, take you to, oh, yeah, 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 right. From 1913, yeah, 19 years take you to 1914. 13,086 BC. What's 13,086 BC? $13,086. Is we talking about the year one? Said in the theology of time, Elijah Muhammad stated that Hinduism was 35,000 years old instead of Buddhism. Do you think it's possible that he got the two religions mixed up in the 10th degree? Um, well, the histories is related because Siddhartha Gautama uh, was a Hindu, like Buddhism came from Hinduism somehow. I don't know the exact mechanism and the exact people. So that's what I'm saying about the 15,000 year cycle. We're seeing, so that's what I'm saying about the 15,000 year cycle, where it seemed to present 111 years is added to 15,000. And people say they in 15,111 according to the Asiatic calendar. It said it seemed the present 111 years is added to 15,000, and people say they in 15,111. And I'm not understanding what I'm not understanding. Like I'm saying, like this is what I'm saying, right? If you go back 15,111 years, right, to the year one, right? there was another Quran before that. That's what I'm saying. Like that's not when you saying like it's the cycle. That's not the beginning of time. That's the beginning of the recording of this cycle. Yeah, so that's what I'm not saying. That I'm saying that 15,000, well, 9,889 years. Right, 9,989 years and make it 25,000. But that don't really have to do with the 16,000 years ago. Yeah, but uh she said 1,000 years is left off. You mean 900 years is left off in the knowledge degree. Yeah, I mean, I really just I mean, I see what you're saying, but I just ain't see how it's related to the 16,000 years ago. But not PMI, I don't think it was I don't think that was a mistake in terms of input in Hinduism, you know what I'm saying, or Buddhism, you know what I'm saying. It probably, you might say it was a clarification, you know what I'm saying, just like in the in the in I can't recall which book, but the 900 years is in the book, but it's later on. Like in the book, it's like 9,954 years left to complete 25,000 years. So look, it's only one person that really could tell us. We had to speak to Bernstein Sharif, but we're a little late. Bernstein Sharif could have dropped that jewel on us. That is he referring to when Elijah said that was an error, 900 years. Nah, he's talking about another instance of Elijah saying in one of his books that Hinduism is 35,000 years old, while in the lessons, you say 16,111. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't change my lessons. Like if I'm going through the understanding, then I would tell people that's what it is up to date. But see, the lessons is written in 1934, and they're always that's never going to change about the lessons that they was written in 1934. You know what I'm saying? And several times, you know what I'm saying, he mentions throughout 120 that it means from the present day and time right now. All these calculations is from this present day and time. So if I was, like I said, if I was gonna go through my understanding, or just if whoever I was building with, it got to that level, right, then we would do it like that. You know what I'm saying? But in general, uh uh I leave it, I leave the lessons how they is. You know what I'm saying? Because see, the thing is that once you get to the 40th degree, you gotta change that too. Then you gotta say this is 40 questions, right? Answered by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and right, magnetic, right? And then you gotta put two of the lost and found in the wilderness. You see, you gotta go through all that now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's 1933. And see, look, everything that's in there that we draw up, right? Like some things we draw up, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, how do you bring when it said, you know, uh, why is the devil teaching keep our people illiterate? How do you bring that up to date? Because like I said, even the people who, I think that's one of the things that's happening, with the modern world right now, like social media, people is getting dumbed down. It's not even bookstores no more. You know what I'm saying? Like you could even, like I remember when an author used to come and say, I got my book right here, the hardcover and the soft, the soft cover and the hard cover cost this much and this much. Now when they come up, they be like, yeah, it's on Amazon, you get it on Kindle for this way, you can download it from my site. You know what I'm saying? So, just the whole that whole world is different now. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of studies is starting to come out now. You're starting to have, you know, it's grown people now that grew up on the internet. You know what I'm saying? You know, or people who, they might have been born before the internet, but they don't really recall like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, and then you got people like well, you got that too, right? You got people that was around the internet before the real rise of social media, you know. And then you got those people like my sons, where it's like, yeah, that's something that came out. Like, they was playing outside and somebody was talking about the internet, but they didn't really, by the time social media really start popping off, my sons is in junior high school already. You know what I'm saying? you know. And then I got my youngest daughter that, you know, uh, the internet is like television. How television is for me, the internet is like that for her, which she's never known the world without that. And they starting to have studies of, the impact that it's having on, all things mental and emotional. He said, what I was saying above is Al Islam had the knowledge. The Nation of Islam gave us the book of wisdom, and 5% God's and earth is the best part. We dealing with understanding. I mean, it's all the best part. That was the best part of their time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's all the conditions that be existing around people's time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, with the uh Masons, all the stuff that we talking about, they had to live in that. Like they had to live through Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't really sure when Prince Hall came about it. That might have still been slavery time. You know what I'm saying? Times when, you know, black people just being free walking up and down the street, let alone knowing how to read, was dangerous. That was detrimental to their health. So yeah, you gotta make this move secret. You can't tell these people that, look, we got this idea. Look, we want to send all the smartest young black kids to college. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to have them, go out and be the first people to show and prove for us that we can do it. You can't just come out and say that in the 1800s. See, in this day and time, because people have paid the price, Elijah done been in prison for this, man. All the different things what happened, right? A lot of them been in battle on all that stuff. See, now we free. We get ahead and that same black man's God. Fuck it. What they gonna do? See, that's how we is now. You see what I mean? So yeah, this is the best part of right now. They came in their good time. See, like I said, Elijah, he's dealing with people who, people some of them don't know how to read and write. You know what I'm saying? So how could they really have ever really analyzed things for themselves? See, we came in a time where things already happened. You see what I'm saying? It's already been Marcus Garvey. It's already been Malcolm X. It's already been Frederick Douglass. It's already, you know what I'm saying? When we get that calendar, that black calendar with all the people on it, a lot of them people ain't get busy yet. When Elijah was starting, in the 1800s, when the Masons was going on, there's no Marcus Garvey yet. There's no Noble Drew Ali yet. A lot of these people don't even exist. So they had to do what they had to do to save their life. You see what I'm saying? We can sit here now in this time where, like I said, you can get on the internet and talk shit, right? And then we can use that to talk shit about them people, but they had to deal with their time, G. You understand? So in that time, you gotta look at that. That was the outcome. You know what I'm saying? Is that, look, Thurgood Marshall that that went in the Supreme Court, right, and won all those cases that led to civil rights. Yeah, he got in school through the what you call that, the Divine Nine. What is it? Them first fraternities and sororities. That's how a lot of the heroes of the 20th century got in place. So what they did at that time. That's what it was. It's just that, see, now it's yeah, that's foolish. Like you over here talking about a secret, and I'm on the internet. telling everybody. I mean, that's yeah. In this day and time, if me and you do it, yes, it's that's stupid. you know, but when they did it, that's how they had to survive. You know what I mean? And it was life and death. You know what I'm saying? We see the pictures, you know what I'm saying, of what was happening to various brothers that they thought was getting out of their place. So you got to weigh and judge all the factors. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, you know, is is Elijah. We just saying that in this day and time, right, that we are fully literate. You see what I'm saying? And because this is what I'm saying. I know about the guys from Africa now. I'm not dealing with them neither. See, we might don't know exactly, but we know what Bantu is. We know, you understand what I mean? Like these are the things that nobody knew then. Nobody knew where they came from. Nobody knew what religion they was worshiping then, or even roundabout. There was no idea of it. Nobody knew what languages they were speaking. Nobody knew none of this stuff, man. People was just finding out all this stuff, man. Where it tells you approximately 60 years of, alive, everybody's brand new. You see, Elijah did his job, right? Of raising the people up to a level where they can be themselves. And so now that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, now if we go back and all those brothers that put in whatever work they put in to get us to right here, now if we go back to that, then yeah, that's stupid. These people gave their life for nothing. You know what I'm saying? And giving your life don't just mean being killed. It means you spent your life doing that. Like, this is what, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like somebody put their life into devilishment and try and destroy people. When they eat food and they get rest, they building up the energy in their body to go do devilishment. That's what they're gonna spend their life on. But with the other people, I joke with them, but they not. There's a reason why all of that's in the 5% degree. There's a reason why all of that's in the 16th degree. You know what I'm saying? And look, it's positive and negative everything. So I know I've heard all of the other side of the story, right? Of why they in there. But don't leave that part of the story out too. That they was 5% in a day and time. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, because that's what happens, man. See, the devil continue daily. So see, even if it be tactics where brothers be successful at something, see, they going to do something. Like, see, y'all trying to deal with education. All right, we taking that shit over. And now y'all can only learn what we wanted y'all to learn. So now we have to take it to another level, right? Elijah got to start educating people himself. Can't send you to that school over there because they fucking our shit up. See, now you starting to get Carter G. Woodson. I think it's Carter G. Woodson, right? With Black History Month. You're starting to have these various, you know, black writers, historians, everything that's coming out because they realize, man, we got to do it ourselves. Don't leave that part out, man. That's 5%. People is held responsible for what they know is right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not disagreeing with you, right? You know, I'm not disagreeing with your statement, but I'm just saying, you know, let's weigh and judge all the factors. Everything like this screen. L7. What's the deal? So is that it? We got any other questions before we wind this one down? Like I told you, I don't know what's going on with this insomnia, but uh I'm about to see if I could get some rest. And we gotta handle we got some we still got one more live stream for this week. The other thing too, I took the last video, I took it down, but there's it's a playlist on the channel now. It's called Anniversary. So if y'all wanna, if you wanna listen to it on your own, you can play the playlist at your own leisure. So why does the year 2000 BC equal 11,087 and not 11,000 using the timeline where 1934 equals 15,020? Uh, nah, it's not off according to 15,020 in 1934. It's off according to 1914. Either that or it throws off when Yakub went to Patmos. It's not the discrepancy is not from 1934. Uh, but anyway, like I said, do each one, teach one. Hit the like button. Like I said, I know. Yeah, look, that's one of the things when you make your own Asiatic calendar and you get a chance to add all this stuff up and look all these various dates up and all of that. You know what I'm saying? That's when you see this like Dave was talking about. It's like if you calculate 551 from 1931, you get the correct dates. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and say peace. And you know, hopefully I get this proper amount of rest where we can um we can be back on early tomorrow. So in the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna sign off and say peace. Actually, I need to get some more footage like this. I like how this was. How I had this background. You know, I'm gonna try to get. I'm gonna try to get some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, I'm cool with this. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna sign off and say peace, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.